You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Hello, and welcome to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 145. And to be honest, this is going to be a little bit of a different episode because I don't even have a title. But I want to let you know that if this is your first episode of listening to Productivity Straight Talk, you are in the right place. If you want to improve profits, decrease stress, and make time for what matters most. In today's episode, I am just turning on the mic and I'm talking to you as we together as small business owners navigate what we're all feeling and experiencing because of the coronavirus. Today's episode was pre-recorded and ready to go out, and then the coronavirus hit. And to be honest, when it hit at first, I don't think anyone really realized what the impact would be or what would actually be happening. And Thursday night, I was like, we can't hit play on that episode. Like, this is just not the best topic. This is not the right direction. This needs to be a real episode that we are talking about what's really going on right here and right now. So I reached out to my team, and this is one of the best things of being a small business owner is that you can pivot quickly, which brings me to one of the benefits of being a small business owner as we are navigating the coronavirus. I want to tell you that my week was filled meeting with one-on-one clients and having various conversations about how it has been impacting my clients' lives, both personally and professionally. And I wasn't too concerned till towards the end of the week. And I remember talking to my husband saying, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of like clearing out the stores, but I think we need to make some preparations because the fear and the anxiety is intense. And that can make people do a lot of things they wouldn't normally do, like clear out all the toilet paper. And so for me, when I feel anxiety or a lot of unknown, I do best with moving through being decisive, making decisions, and taking action on the things that I can control. And that's what I want to share with you here today because I did go through all the emotions. Thursday night, I was very, very clear that some big decisions needed to be made in my business. And I reached out to my team, each of them individually, as well as my coach. And, I spoke to each of them because, to be quite honest, we were getting ready to go into a promotion for a new training that I was putting on and also a new program that I am putting on. And that was going to be in the coming weeks as well. And so this all hit at a very critical time when we were getting ready to flip the switch on letting you guys know what we've been working on for the last 2.5, 3 months. And it was clear to me that that is not the best way to serve you. And it's not the best way to show up for you with what you need, and especially this week. And so I was like, well, where does that leave us? Like, what are we going to do? And I just had this, all these questions, okay, what decisions need to be made now? What decisions can be made in the future when we know more? How does this impact? What is the impact? And so as I went through and I got feedback from each person on my team, I also asked to speak to my coach. And so we jumped on a call at 7 a.m. my time Friday morning. And I was like, look, this is everything that I know I need to make a decision on. This is kind of how I see it playing out. What do you see? What do you recommend? What are you seeing in the marketplace with your other clients? And so I'm sharing this with you because I had to go to my trusted advisory council. And one of the things that I teach and I support is that for us to be our most productive selves, we need to move through decision-making quickly. And when something like this happens, and fill in the blank, like 2 weeks before that, my elderly aunt became very, very ill and had a surgery that was not expected, and I'm her primary caregiver. That required some decision-making and pivoting and communication. The market shifting, a failed launch, an unhappy client, all of these things happen regularly in our lives for all of us. And so the most productive thing we can do is evaluate the situation and be decisive. And part of what I teach and I support my clients with is moving through decisions very decisively and not drawing them out, because that is generally one of the most unproductive uses of our time. It creates stress and anxiety and really slows everything down because you can't go left and you can't go right because no decision is made. And so what I exercised over the last couple of days was reaching out to my trusted advisory council, which included, my husband and people on my team and my coach. And I want to ask you that during this time when you may not know what that next move is for your business, or you may not even know exactly what the ramifications of what's going on in the world today and impact it's having on your business, how do you move through making decisions to pivot so that you're being proactive and not reactive? I'm going to tell you, I really recommend that you reach out to your trusted advisory council, and not in a way where you're, complaining and just, that poor me and I can't believe this is happening, because this is very unusual circumstance. This is a great way to practice and train our minds. This is one of those circumstances that you're not alone. All business owners, all small business owners, in fact, almost the entire world is feeling the effects of the very same circumstances. And so if our circumstances don't change, and there are people that will thrive and grow their businesses during this time, what is the difference? What is the difference of those that will thrive and see this as an opportunity and those that just close the door and say, great, it's spring break for 3 weeks, it's spring break for a month, or I'm just going to wait this out? And I believe the difference is the thoughts that we're choosing to have around it. And I'm going to share a little bit more. So I, woke up, I spoke to my coach, and I made decisions. And those decisions felt incredibly empowering. And I think that you may have some decisions that need to be made. And I know that you will feel so much more empowered in a situation that could possibly feel like there's no control to be had. Next, I prepared my family. So I took the rest of the day off, which was yesterday, Friday, and I went to Sam's Club and I went to Walmart and I went to the grocery store and I got what we needed so that we could stay home for the next several weeks. Because also, my aunt is elderly. She is the prime person that we are all trying to protect right now. And so I knew that even though locally in my area, they have not closed down the schools, I was making a personal choice for my family. Again, being decisive. I wasn't going to continue to wait and see what the government or the school district decided, because I don't know what's creating their decision making. I don't know what influences why they're making the decisions they're making. But one way to feel like I was more empowered in a situation that can feel incredibly not powerful, or out of control rather, would be a better word, is to make the decision that my son was going to stay home from this point forward until I make a different decision. And I feel like it's the safest place for him to go back for my family, including our elderly relatives, which is who we are really trying to protect, along with other immune-compromised people. Again, I was able to pivot. I had a day scheduled. I had plenty on my calendar on Friday. But I want to tell you that it wasn't about getting the to-do list done. Every day we're going to be navigating things in our lives that are going to have us reprioritize what actually gets our time, attention, and focus. And at this time, it's handling the impact that this could be having on our families. I also took the time to reach out to each person on my team and let them know, this is a good thing. And let me tell you why. And I'm going to share that with you in just a moment because that's a lot of what I want you to take away from this episode. But I also had to step into my leadership role and know that my team has family and they are all over the country and they're experiencing probably very similar things. Like there is no meat at the grocery store. The grocery store's aisles are completely empty. Like that can create a lot of fear if you also don't know what the unknown is, as in, i.e., you work for a small business that just decided to put a hold on a huge promotion, which they know that's where revenue is going to be coming in from for the next several months. And so I reached out to each of them and let them know, we are good. We are so good. Business has been good. And I have been diligent and a good steward of, not the revenue, I guess the finances, and that we can wait this out for several months and you guys are getting your paychecks. And I don't foresee any kind of cuts in hours. And for me, that was a decision that I knew I had to make and know. Quite honestly, if I had to put it on a line of credit, I would do that because that is being decisive and knowing that they've always been there to take care of me and that I will wait out this storm if it turns to be. But right now, it's not even a storm. So let's not jump the gun, right? I just wanted to let them know everything was okay. Okay, so part of that was I needed to take some time for myself. And so before I had reached out to them with here's our next steps, here were the decisions I made based on our conversations, this is the way forward, I had to take some time for myself because my initial thoughts were not oh, this is a great opportunity and this is an opportunity to be grateful. And that's not where I went at first. And I need to be honest with you because, well, I am always honest with you, but I really want to be honest with you in this situation because my guess is your first gut reaction wasn't, this is a good thing for your business. And maybe you're not there even yet now. And so the rest of what I want to share with you is how you can change your thoughts to create different feelings that will then affect your actions differently. So if your thoughts right now are fear and unknown and just a lot of fear without any concrete reasoning why, right? Like have you had clients absolutely cancel? Has the revenue completely stopped right now? That probably isn't where you're at in this moment, but depending on when you're listening to this episode. So initially, it's just your thoughts of what if, and you're kind of forecasting into the future all the things that could possibly happen as a result. And the truth is we don't know. But when we have those thoughts, we freeze and we take inaction. And many of us withdraw and we isolate ourselves. And in this time when we're actually being told to isolate ourselves and, stay home and quarantine ourselves and our families, it could be the most isolating experience because you're not quite sure how your fellow business owners in and out of your industry are handling and pivoting and being proactive and trying to prepare for what may be coming or what is already coming. When we think the thoughts that it's out of control and there's nothing that we can do and it's all gloom and gloom, it doesn't create any positive momentum in our business. Now, mind you, I was there, but I gave myself grace and I was only there for a few hours. And in this circumstance, I was able to turn it around quite quickly. There has been other circumstances over the last 8 years that did not get turned around that quickly. So wherever you're at, there's no judgment. But if you're choosing and you want something different, I'm going to tell you that it's going to start with the thoughts that you have. So I'm going to share with you some of the thoughts that I have had for my business and for my clients that has changed the way I was able to take action because ultimately those thoughts changed the way I felt about the situation. Initially, when they were talking about quarantine, staying home, canceling all these events, speaking events, social events, my first thought was look at all that time we're getting back. Like literally look at all that time I'm getting back. Like I don't need to say no to those things. I don't need to show up to those things right now. What a gift that I get all that time back. For those of you that are parents, like all sporting events are canceled. So we're actually maybe getting time back. We're not driving the kids all over the place. I know I'm not driving my son to practice. And so you're getting time back. I bet you're always looking for extra time or more time. And that's why you're listening to this podcast. So instead of looking at it as a negative, I would say, what can you do with that extra time? Is it extra dinners with the family because you're not running around to all the sports? Is it getting a project done in your business that you would otherwise not have time for because you were preparing for that next conference or speech or promotion or program that you're putting pause on? Are there things that you wish that you could have had the time and energy to do, and now because so many things are being canceled, you have reclaimed that time? That's where I went with that. I was like, wow, look at all that reclaimed time that I get to reinvest in things that matter most to me. The other thing that came up for me as a positive is that I really believe that this is an exercise in being able to show up in a way that lets me exercise decisiveness and leadership and making the best decisions for you, the listeners, and the people that I support, whether it's the podcast or my coaching clients. It really allowed me to shake it up and see things from a different perspective because my clients now needed something different from me. I would love for you to just take a moment and think of how this could be a positive. How could it be a positive that you slow down? You know, I'm not saying that this is like, a snow day and you're just staying in and the snow day lasts for 3 or 4 weeks. What I'm saying is if you got some extra time back and you want to invest it in self-care, do it and be grateful for it. Once you make a decision and you get your mindset right, a whole new opportunity of how you can support your clients and actually make it through this time in your business will come to you because you'll be open to those ideas. You'll be open to those strategies. When we are coming from a place of fear and anxiety and unknown, it's almost like we just close the door. Like those opportunities for those strategies and ideas aren't even allowed in. I would love for you just to practice seeing the good in this shift so that not only do you feel good, because this isn't just about feelings, but feelings are awesome, good feelings are awesome, but so that you could have the opportunity to experience strategies that may be right there in front of you to allow you to pivot and make the most of this time during this season. For those of you that have listened to the podcast for some time, you know that I often talk about seasons. We go through seasons in our lives and seasons in our businesses, and there's always an ebb and flow. And this, my friend, is just a season. So please, wherever you're at on your journey, I would love for you to just take some time and see how this could be a good thing for you or your family. And then move through some decisions that will allow you to make momentum, make forward motion during this time in your business. We together can absolutely weather this storm. So here's what I want to do. I really felt in my heart that I wanted to create a space and a platform for you, my listeners, to get together on a Zoom call. So it's video conferencing. And I want to create the space for you to come in and tell us, where are you at? What is your challenge? And mastermind some strategies to shift and pivot during this time. Now, this is something that I have had in having conversations with for my one-on-one clients individually. But there is something absolutely powerful, not just being the person receiving the tips or strategies or mastermind around your solution, but literally hearing someone else give strategy to someone else. It's almost like you can put yourself in that seat and hear it for yourself. even better sometimes because you're not emotionally tied to it. It's not your story. So you can hear these strategies that are being shared and see how those can be applied to you. It's incredibly powerful. Here's something special that you may or may not know about my listenership. Y'all come from all over the world and all types of industries. And what makes that amazingly awesome that I get to experience on a regular basis when I work with my clients is to see not only the thread that pulls us all together as small business owners, but also the diversity of how one strategy in one industry can be tweaked and applied to another industry and work so well. But because we get blinders on in our own industry, we would have not come up with that strategy or seen that strategy. And so being able to hear from other people in other industries could really create some great ideas for you. This is completely free. Just think of it as a pop-up mastermind about how you can pivot and be proactive and move through with action to come out as best as you can when we are done with this season of the coronavirus. So we are going to be meeting on Thursday, March 19th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard, 12 noon Eastern. If you would like to join us and you want to get the information, Zoom link, and details, please go to theproductivityspecialist.com/pivot. Again, that's theproductivityspecialist.com/pivot. And I'll have all the details about meeting on March 19th, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. It has been such a pleasure to bring this very special episode to you. Let's close it out like we always do because this is so freaking relevant today and, well, all the days. No change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. So if you want to jump on with us onto this pivot mastermind and just even hear or participate in getting some strategies on how you can navigate these times, it's not going to be just business. This could be pivoting in your personal life to support your business as well, because a lot of us are pivoting with kids at home, to say the least. I would really love for you to join me. So you can get all the information by going to theproductivityspecialist.com/pivot. So that's my straight talk for you today. Until next time, have a productive week.